Welcome to this episode of Wax Pro UNCUT. I'm Rachael.
And I'm Erica.
And today we have Judy Cruz with us. Welcome, Judy.
Hey, Judy. So
Thanks for
happy
being
to
here.
have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. I know, I'm afraid you're going to pass out over there, but
No.
it'll be okay.
Well,
She's
I'm in good hands.
Yeah, for sure. We'll wax you when you pass
Thanks.
out. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, please don't.
She's actually the nurse practitioner in the room, so please don't pass out. We need you.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in good hands. I trust you guys.
Okay, well, tell us who you are. Like, what do you do for a living? What's the name of your business? Where are you located? All the things.
Okay, so I just graduated from nurse practitioner school maybe like a year ago.
Okay.
Woo-woo.
That's a huge deal.
It's been years in the making. So, but I own a med spa. It's downtown Phoenix.
Okay.
It's called the JuJu Room. Recently moved into like a bigger med spa because for a
And
while.
it's beautiful.
Is it? I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
I've spent a lot of money.
Okay.
But it's super chic, super beautiful. I finally am where I want to be, in the med spa world, and it took forever to get there. So I'm in a really happy place, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank
Definitely.
you. Thank you.
What services do you offer? What does your menu look like?
So it's a wide range of services. Myself, I offer Botox, fillers, PRP, I don't know, just microneedling.
Okay.
A lot of like preventative services.
Okay.
And then I have an esthetician on board. I have someone that does IV therapy.
Okay.
And then I have a lash tech on board as
Okay.
well. So it's just a ton of services.
Yeah.
A one-stop shop, I guess.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
For everything.
So how did you get there? Obviously, you were a nurse before, a nurse practitioner, right?
Yes.
I know that much about
About the nursing world.
So how did you get into, injectables?
I think so. I've always wanted to be a nurse. That was just like what I wanted to do. I messed up because I was 20 years old and was partying and didn't have my, my life together. Was a nurse in school, went and got a DUI. They kicked me out. And,
no.
yeah, and I spiraled after that. So I actually didn't end up going back into nursing school until I was like 29 years old.
Okay.
And I already had a career in pharmacy, made great money, absolutely hated it. It's a male-driven world, and I just thought to myself, like, this isn't my dream. This isn't what I want to do. So I went back at 29 and graduated. Always knew I wanted to do something in plastics.
Okay.
More like cleft lip and like
Okay.
things to help out, kids that
Like
have
deformity,
deformities.
yeah.
Which is what I still want to do. It's just really hard to get into that
Yeah.
world. But in the meantime, I kind of got into the whole, aesthetics world. I started kind of, just following some of my friends into like plastic surgeons' offices, which they had, injectables and things like that, and kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then that was the route that I decided to go, and it's been the best decision I've ever
you're
made.
happy
And
there?
I am so happy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just got so happy. That was like
Right?
serious
You can
happiness.
like feel the passion
Yeah.
behind your story of like you're exactly where you want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's cool.
And I definitely still want to do
Grow.
like, the work that I intended to do in the beginning. I would love to do a lot of mission trips, and especially now with my nurse practitioner license, go to third world countries and just help and be able to do that, but also still service or be useful in the beauty industry,
Right.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
love both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
So-
what's so nice about the industry is you can do both.
Yeah.
Like it gives you the opportunity to kind of play with all the things that you want to do
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
succeed at them.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
great.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, prior to nursing school, like what was your trajectory? How did you decide you wanted to do nursing? You mentioned a little bit about your party era and the DUI, which thank you for being vulnerable
Yeah.
because not everyone's going to share that sort of information.
Yeah.
But a lot of our listeners are, entrepreneurs in the making, and maybe they don't know what they're doing, or maybe they've been in legal trouble, or they've been partying a lot and they don't even know what's next, right? But there was obviously a turning point for you. So can
Right.
you give us a rundown, like maybe high school to where you're at now, just high level, and how you got here?
I think we all have to acknowledge that we're people. we all have personal lives. Like, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my business. You know, I love what I do, but I'm also very much the fun-going, like outgoing person that likes to be social and likes to go out and have a drink or 2 or 3 or whatever, you know, like everyone does. We're drinking now.
Yes.
Like, it's such, you know, it's, I like to go out, and we're young, we're successful, we want to be surrounded by people that love to have fun, and I think it's just really hard to draw that line when you're 19 years old, 20 years old, you know? So you're still kind of not, I guess you're not responsible enough to make decisions that you make now as an adult. So back then there was no Uber. Like, we're old. There was, I think I would call a taxi back then, and it was
And they
like
were so expensive.
Yeah.
I had a $150 taxi one time from Mill to my parents' house in like Metro.
Yeah.
What the? So yeah, be thankful for your resources now.
For
kids.
sure. For sure. I'm Hispanic, so I would call something called Coras Taxi.
Oh my gosh.
Coras Taxi was like $20, which at the time when you're 20, I was like,
But
oh my
still
God.
felt like a lot.
I
Yeah.
can't afford $20. But now I'm like, why didn't you just call them?
Yeah.
Like, it was $20. But whatever, that happened. But I really kind of had to get it together, you know, because I'm like, I wanted to be a nurse. I've always wanted to be a nurse. I don't know what it was. I just knew that
How
that's
young
the
on
industry.
did you know?
I think in high school is when I made the decision, really. Like, there was just so many, I don't know, nobody ever talked to me about college. And I'm sure you guys can relate. Like, our parents were more focused on having a family, having kids. So we didn't really
Get
speak
married.
about... Right,
And then
right.
have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You'll
great.
figure out,
Yeah.
you
The
know, your
rest of it.
future.
Make money.
Yeah. Which is, it's so the opposite now. But it wasn't really a priority, something that we talked about. I think... Honestly, I just picked a career and kind of went with it. I was like, I want to be a nurse. And that kind of, you know, evolved as the years went by. My son had a really terrible accident, and he was in the ICU when he was a baby for like 6 months. No, not 6 months. I'm exaggerating. Like maybe like 2 months. But
That's a lot still.
Yeah, plastic surgery. So plastics came in and
Ooh,
they put
there's
his
a
leg together.
correlation there then, yeah.
Yes. Plastics came in and they actually reconstructed his leg.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and he wasn't gonna walk, so they absolutely killed it. Like, I couldn't have asked for better surgeons, and I just thought to myself, like, this is what I want to do.
Wow, that's so powerful.
Yeah, and so I don't know how that led to the whole, you know, aesthetics world, but I'm glad that I'm here. I still want to do that, and eventually do some sort of plastics, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
You mentioned your son, so you have children.
I do. I
So
have
you
3.
were in nursing school when you had kids, or what was that timeline like?
Yeah, so I actually was married when I think really, really young. We met when we were 17, separated at 21, and I've been a single mom since. Kind of just had kind of like, not a fling, but it was like a rebound that lasted way too long, and had a child with that person, and we co-parent so well. I love him. He's a great dad, great communication, but I still do most of the parenting, you know? So I had to go back to school, had to figure it out. And I think you just put barriers in your own way, you know? Like, I can't do this. I'm a single mom. Like, it's so scary. How am I going to pay for this? But you find a way. You find a way and you get through it, and, you know, you make it happen.
Yeah.
Especially for those people that you're trying to make it happen for, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
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 Well, how do you feel like your education, like all of the schooling that you have gone through, has prepared you for where you're at now? Do you feel like you were well prepared?
I think in a sense, yes, and in a sense, no, because it definitely prepares you for emergencies. So had I not had nursing school and all the education that I had in nursing school, I wouldn't know what to do. I do very, I guess, specific things to the face where I can inject an artery or, you know, something that can make you blind or give you face paralysis. So I feel like if I didn't have my nursing foundation, that would absolutely be, you know, a no.
Right.
But because I have that knowledge and I know where, you know, where the
Things are,
arteries
yeah.
are. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the autonomy of the face and things that I learned in you know, basic school, I guess. I feel super confident. But on the business owner side, it's like, no, I didn't go to school for business. So it didn't prepare me on that end.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's like, you guys know, it's kind of like, you just go and you learn as you go.
figure it out. Yeah.
Lots
Trial
of
and error.
mistakes.
For sure.
So curious, what do you wish you would have known before entrepreneurship that you know now?
That it takes a village. I think that because we are, and I think you can speak for yourselves, you're two women in business. I started solo, and I think that a lot of the work fell on me, and I didn't want to ask for help. I'm independent. I'm doing this on my own. I got it, and a lot of the times your friends, your family, they're like, hey, let me know what you need help with. And you're like, no, I got it. And whether it be pride or whatever it is, you're doing all of these things. You're staying up, you're stressed out, you're putting in hours, you're putting in all of your money. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I think that people, because of social media, it just seems so easy, and we're so confident on like our reels or the things that we post. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It is the
that
complete
comes
opposite.
up almost every episode.
Yeah.
Social media and the
The facade, I guess.
the persona that you think people like, they portray it on purpose, and you don't know if it's real success or if it's just a production, and then you compare yourselves to that. It's like you gotta put that all aside, right?
Yeah.
What
But
a
I
trip.
think allowing people to help you is big. I wish I would have known that. I'm 3 years in now by myself. And I think that allowing just even little things, like, hey, let me help you build your desk, or let me help,
Great.
And I'm like, no, I got it. Because I remember the first night that I was at my new place, I was dead ass, like trying to build this like reception desk.
Yeah.
And I did not want to ask for help, and I'm reading the instructions, and I'm like, okay, Judy, you're a nurse practitioner. You got
can do this.
Like I have built things. I'm a single person. I'm a single woman. I have a house. Like I can do anything,
Yeah.
I do my gardening. I do everything, and I could not figure out how to build this desk. And I broke down and I started crying, and I'm like, why am I crying? And I have a truly.
I've had so many moments like that. You're like, that's what broke me.
Yes,
the
like,
fucking desk
the
broke
desk.
me.
Yes. Yes. So luckily for me, I'm a girl. So I opened, my spa door, and there's these construction workers miraculously outside my door, and I'm like, do you think you can come and help me?
They get fired from their jobs because they're like,
Literally, he was in there for like an hour. Like,
see.
I'm sure he was
But if
taking
it took
his
him
time.
that long, you're like, all right, it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
he
God.
put together the rest of the desk.
The
'cause
rest.
I did.
You started it.
You started.
I did like 70%, and and it felt amazing because I'm like, dang, should I just like ask for help all the time now?
Yes.
But yeah, that's
You're like, the answer is yes.
Yes. Hopefully, there's construction workers
Yes.
hanging out
Always.
everywhere.
So how many employees? You said you have an esthetician, you have
So right now I'm currently, no one works. So right now, this is what I do. Just because financially it makes sense for me, I 1099 everyone.
Okay.
So everybody's their own boss. Everyone's their own business or within the med spa.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how my salon runs as well.
Yeah.
So and it's nice because it's like if you could be a bigger thing, but you're like you worry about you and
I worry about me.
Yeah.
So do you have room for growth? Like do you have empty rooms and where you're at now? Like to continue to rent out, or are you at capacity?
I'm at capacity
Where
right
you're at.
now.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank God. It's been a good year.
Yeah, that's great.
And I think eventually I'll evolve into like having my own employee. I just think I've tried that in the past, and for me it didn't work because I was travel nursing at the time, and I'm a single mom, and
It's
I
a
have
lot to
sports.
manage, yeah.
Yeah, and then like it's almost like you're managing kids, So you think that
herding
these are
cats.
like you think that these are adults that went to school to do these things, and you realize like no, not everyone is like you.
Right.
I think right now this works for me.
Yeah.
And eventually, when I do expand or whatever, I would like to have like a manager and all of those things. But right now, I think this works.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is good.
Okay, so then talk to us about how you build your personal clientele. Do you social media?
I
Do you
do.
like promotions and discounts? Are
Yeah.
you a networking girl? Are you all the above?
I am literally none of that, you guys.
Okay. Are you word of mouth? Who are you?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like it has been a wild, wild ride. I think it's all personality based, honestly, because I am not the best at social media. I know that I have to be, so I post.
Right.
And like we were just talking about, I'm like, I don't feel well in front of the camera, so I have to shoot like
Which
things.
blows my mind
I
because
know.
she's so great in front of the
Yes.
camera. Like,
No,
what do you mean?
no, I have to shoot things like 7 times, and then I'm looking at my hair, and I'm looking at my lashes, and I'm looking
Just
at my
overly
little,
like critical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So then I'm like, delete.
But the people that have like your client base that you have now, where did they come from?
They
Like-
literally are like, I think I had one client and then it was word of mouth.
And word of
like,
mouth.
oh, she's
Okay.
good. And it's more personality based, I feel like, because I talk to people
Yeah.
and I'm, it's more like a friendship versus, hey, we're going to sign this consent and I'm super professional. Like, I am to an extent, but I think just being friendly, welcoming, and having a good personality attracts people.
For sure.
And then I talk a lot. So we go out to the bar and I'm like, hey, here's my business card.
Yeah.
Hey, here's
Bingo.
my business
Yeah.
card, And like just from,
That.
just being out in public or, from when I did bartending and things like that, just word of mouth really is what has gotten me through the
Yeah,
years.
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's super important for our viewers, our audience to understand is that there is no cookie cutter way to build a business. Like, we can't hand you a blueprint at Wax Pro Academy and say, this business curriculum is going to make you successful. That's far from what we're saying. There are a lot of principles in there that it's going to teach you the foundation of
Right.
how to start your business,
Right.
right? Which you're not going to get just graduating aesthetics or cosmetology or even nursing school
Yeah, absolutely.
and just go out and learn. However, everyone has some value to add. You could build a business off of referrals. You could build a business off of hiring a marketing company that's going to get you leads.
Right.
Or paying a ton of money in SEO or, digital campaigns or whatever your strategy is. It's your strategy. And what works for Judy might work for you,
Absolutely.
might not. But learning from every entrepreneur we have on our show and just understanding that there's, multiple ways to build a business is why we have this podcast, is like hear it from real people building real businesses, not just me and Rachael who wrote this program and we think it's great, but legit people who are making money, who have come from nothing, who are single mothers, who are busting their ass to build their business. Like, hear it from them. Look at their pages, go to their facilities, learn about them. That's most important to us. So, thank you for sharing like everything you have.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff, again, it's just vulnerable. Like, no one likes to talk about their, DUIs or exes or oh, I gave up school, then I restarted at 29, but that's what it takes.
Yeah, and life is life, and I think getting to know people, networking is huge too. That's a big thing that I've learned just recently, honestly. Like, I've gone to a couple of trainings where I meet other nurses and it's like, hey, we got along, let's exchange numbers, whatever. And then they're like, hey, you offer this service.
And
I
I
offer
don't.
this
Yeah.
service. Yeah. Let's get together and exchange. And like, honestly, I met a nurse just recently. She's so amazing. Like, she was like, you're so good at lips, like, can I come shadow you one day? And I am not a gatekeeper. Like, if you hit me up on Instagram and you want to know whatever you want to know,
You'll answer.
I will answer. I may not sit down with you and train you, but like, I will tell you, like, this is where I got my training, this is how much it was, like, here's the information, go,
Why are you
And
like that?
I think honestly because like the industry that we come from, it was really hard to get that help initially. Not so much now. I feel like everybody's kind of grown in the industry, but it was really hard. Like, I was in so many people's DMs. It was crazy. I'm like, hey girl, how do you do this? Hey girl, how
And
do you
just
do this?
no response?
And no response.
Crickets.
Like none. So then I remember one day I was like, you know what? I am gonna go and just get injected everywhere in the valley. I had taken my aesthetics course. I had applied on Indeed and like everywhere that you could apply for like an injector's position. They wanted 2 years experience. I had 0. I was a nurse. I think I had only been a nurse for like 2 months at the time. And I took this injector's course. It was a 2 days course. literally gave me no hands-on experience. And I'm like, okay, I need to go out and find a job. I applied to so many places and they all wanted 2 years experience. So I'm like, okay, they're not going to give it to me.
It's always 2 years. Every single industry, 2 years minimum experience.
Yeah, and I'm like, how am I going to get the experience if you don't give me the chance to do that? So whatever, I was in people's DMs. No one answered. I'm like, am I the ugly girl that doesn't get answered?
No.
Does everyone hate me? Yeah, you know. But so they didn't answer. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get injected at like 5 different injectors, kind of pick their brains and kind of see what their advice is. So in that one day, I got lips, I got cheeks, I got chin, I got nose, I got so many different things.
Wow,
that's
how much did you spend?
Damn, I know. That sounds like a car.
Yeah, it was a pretty good amount of money that I spent. But the last injector that I went to,
all in a day, Judy?
Yes, literally.
Stop.
Literally.
They're like,
Oh
any
my
previous
God.
work? You're like, no.
Nope.
This is me. I was born like
No,
this.
this is what I look like.
No, normal. Totally mine.
Yeah. And then it happens to be that the last injector that I was at, she was so friendly. I had told her, I'm like, hey, this is, I got certified. I'm looking for a job, and it's been difficult, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, open your own business. And I'm like, I have no experience.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
like,
going to open my own business. I don't even know. I've never even injected a person in my life. And she's like, no, like, what are you waiting for? And I just remember thinking, like, this girl's crazy. And she sat down with me and she said, look, this is how much on an iPad. She wrote it down and, like, she said, this is how much you need. And she gave me the cost of a Botox bottle, the cost of, like, a pack of syringes, and then my medical director cost. And she said, can you afford that? And I said, yes, I can.
You're like, that? Yeah, I spend that in a weekend.
And I was like, I spent that today on my face.
Yeah.
So I said, yes, I can. And she said, then go get it. And she's like, I'll be your medical director. I will be that person for you. She's the nurse practitioner.
So that's what it takes to be the medical director is you have to have your nurse practitioner's license.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Which
then,
Judy is now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, one more time. I wish you had a little sound box.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
So you can inject as a nurse and you can do all of the other procedures, but to actually be a medical director and oversee an office, you have to be a nurse practitioner. So you can work independently. I can have my own office, but I would have to have someone overseeing me, writing my prescriptions, someone to go to, I guess, for my emergencies, and that's what a medical director is.
Okay.
So she's like, I will be your medical director, and literally that's how I started. I met with a rep. She got me in touch with with the rep, opened my LLC, all of that. I met with him, and he was like the lip filler guy.
Okay.
And so I remember we met at Chipotle and it was so casual and he was there and he's like, so what's your game plan for opening day? And I'm like, what game plan?
What's the game plan?
What's the game plan? Like, I literally did not know what he was talking about. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, oh my God, like you have to have a game plan for your first day. Like if you don't make like at least $2,500 that day, he's like, you might as well just kiss the industry goodbye.
Oh,
and
Jesus. You're like, okay, read a game plan.
No pressure.
Yeah. And guess how much I made my first day? $5,500.
Oh!
Excuse me?
I texted him and I said, guess what?
Guess what, motherfucker?
And he is one of my best reps now. Like
my gosh.
He's my favorite rep.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually a really funny story.
Yeah.
It's great.
I literally text him all the time. I'm like, remember that time?
Remember when you doubted me?
Yeah, when you didn't have no faith
Maybe
in
that was
me.
a part of his strategy to push you.
Yeah.
So I love that there's parallels though. Like in every industry we talk about, like no one's ever ready. So like when are you ready?
No.
You're not. You got to go.
No.
And I'm really happy you met that last injector.
Yeah.
Because that's the best advice.
Yeah.
It's like do your own thing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
No one's
So,
gonna hire you.
Okay, so if there had been a course, like an online course, not to completely plug Wax Pro Academy, if there had been a Injector Pro course that you could have taken all the skills that you needed and not had to go get injected all 5 places, would you have done that? Would you have taken it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing like that for the injector side of the aesthetics world. There is, but it's scary to think that you're gonna inject someone based on just I guess online training.
Right.
Okay. That's
But,
valid.
but even you talking to this last girl and she was
Yeah.
like, start your own business,
Yes.
and you said, I don't have any experience,
Yeah.
and she's like, so what? Can you make this number?
Yes.
And did it
Right.
anyway, right?
Right. So I think if the online portion of it, yes, you can have that, but like, hey, like, here's a couple resources, here's
Totally.
where to go, and like get
Here's a
some hands-on
community.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I think having that, yes. Absolutely, I would have done it. There was also no one to sit down and tell me like, hey, this is how to open an LLC. Hey, this is where you go get your TIN. This
Yes.
is what you need a TIN. What's a
Right.
TIN?
Here's what inventory looks
right.
like and your pricing for your area.
I'm 3 years in, I still hit her up and I'm like,
Can you help
am
me?
drowning financially.
You just
because-
send her the link to the
I'm like-
course.
no.
buy the course.
No,
girl.
but honestly, a lot of times it's my resources. I'm like, okay, here's
Yeah.
my accounting girl, or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, here's this, here's that. And it's all about networking and helping each other, because it's such a small population that's doing what we're doing, which is building not just a business, an empire, truly.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just running a little operation. You've got 1099 employees under you. You're looking to expand and do more and
Yeah.
potentially have a manager. You know, Rachel and I are hoping to reach out to thousands of students
Yeah,
and
right.
help them build their own thing and save them from the trials and tribulations of all the pain we talk
Yeah.
about on this
Yeah.
show. It's just like, oh my God, we were so naive. We didn't know this. And if we just would have known a little bit more
Yep.
than where we started, where would we be, right?
Right.
So that's what we're gifting to people in the program is
Yeah.
that
yeah.
that knowledge and that comfort in knowing that, like, okay, well, at least here's the basics.
Right. Right.
Well, I don't want to discredit us. It's not just the
No,
basics.
No, it's a lot more than that.
I
But-
will
Not a
tell
lot
you
more.
guys that like when I started this journey and I started looking into getting an LLC, and I didn't even know how to do the application, complete the application, you know? So as I'm going along, I put together a document that has the links to like, you know, the IRS, to very different things, how, you know, where to start an LLC, where to get your malpractice insurance, at least for all the injector side of it. I created this document and it's kind of like a step-by-step guide on how to start an aesthetic business in the injectors world. So when I met Erica and Nick was telling me, our mutual friend Nick was telling me, oh yeah, she has like this whole business plan together on like, you know, Wax Pro Academy and how you're gonna start this business. And I'm like, oh my God, like literally I had like very similar thoughts, but your guys' is on 10. My idea was down here, your guys.
That's okay.
I'm
We
like,
started
you
down
have
here.
a podcast.
Yeah, no, literally, one of our promo videos,
It's-
Rachel's like, I started with a silly Word document.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just like,
no, mine is a silly
Yeah.
Word document. So
Stupid.
Right?
this is so good to see because it's like I like something that I thought of doing and I'm like, it just takes so much time.
It's totally does.
Yeah.
It
So
does.
and then I see how much time she invests, how much time you invest, and you know, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, for
sure.
it's
so
all worth it in the
yeah.
end.
I
our
am sure
baby.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, our bouncy
for sure.
baby girl.
Good.
So, what's your favorite service to do?
I think hands down lips is the funnest, the hardest. I think it takes a lot of technique, a lot of knowledge to do lips. You have to assess your patient, kind of see what works for their face. But it's the most rewarding in the end because it's instant. So like you get to see your lips, people go home and they're so happy or they're so mad. I don't know. Most of the time they're so happy because it's instant, you know. So PRP, all of the other threads, those take time to, you know, for you to see
results,
results.
yeah.
Skincare, it's like it takes time. Botox, it takes time. You don't leave the office and look that way, but
Yeah.
with lips, you see it instantly. And just to see the faces of these people, especially like the girls that never had that confidence, you know, it's like, it's the best. It's literally the best. So that's my favorite. The most difficult, the most scary, but it's my favorite for sure.
Yeah. I could imagine.
Okay, but what is your like worst client story? Have you had someone be super mad before?
I recently had this lady come in and I don't do Groupon.
Okay.
That's just me.
I think that's a great practice.
Yes.
We need to add that to the course. Talk about Groupon.
Yeah.
Talk about max discount $10,
For
baby.
sure. For sure, yes. Discounts will kill you. They've killed me. I've been there. And I don't do Groupon. I don't knock anybody that does it, but personally, I just don't do it.
Yeah, it's just not on brand for you.
It's not my brand for sure. And I had a lady reach out to me on Instagram, and she asked me immediately, like she said, "Hey, can I get a discount on lips?"
Just
And,
right out the gate.
Right out the gate. That should have been my red flag.
What?
To
Sure.
But like there are those people that are like, well, you don't know if you don't ask.
No,
And you're
yeah,
like,
right.
Oh,
So-
how did I get roped into this?
She's probably gonna see this, and I'm gonna be like, oh.
No, she's not. It's fine.
But so she straight out asked me for a discount. She said, "Can I get a discount on lips?" And I said, hey, nice to meet you, whatever, this is a special that I'm currently running. It's on Botox, it's not on lip filler. But I can make an exception. I can give you, whatever discount on filler if you decide to come in. And I gave her $100 discount. So she comes in and we talk about lips, and immediately she tells me, I want half a syringe. That's another thing I don't do is I don't do half syringes.
Like you make them buy the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason being, it's not because I want the profit. The profit could literally mean less
Just
to
sit
me.
there.
It's because it's results. So
Yeah.
I know that half a syringe is half of a blueberry.
Okay.
It's half of the size of half of a blueberry, right? And then you're cutting that half in a half. So you're
Okay.
putting 1/4 of a blueberry onto the top lip, 1/4 onto the bottom lip.
And it's not gonna do anything.
It's literally.
But do some people not need a full syringe? Like you make them like are you gonna? I don't know. I don't do my lips, so I
I
don't
was
know.
gonna start answering like
Go
I'm
ahead,
going
go ahead.
here. No, you go.
But
You
like,
go.
but is
You're
there a
the professional.
scenario? Is there a scenario where they buy a syringe and you don't use the whole thing?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And then do you say they own the syringe?
Yeah, I don't physically like
Do they take
say
it home with them?
I don't.
Here's your doggy bag.
That's wonderful. But no, I don't like physically save the syringe, but you have half a syringe credit,
Okay,
basically.
okay.
Right? So I end up using that syringe like on the next
Okay,
girl or something,
okay,
like that
okay.
half. Or on myself as I'm bored, like my nose has
Okay,
tons of
okay.
little halves. But so you save it, whatever.
Okay.
There's some girls that don't require the full syringe. You give them the little half, or you let their lips kind of expand because they have really tight lips. You want them to kind of stretch out, and then you bring them back. Or in the sense, like, let's say you already have a full syringe in, you just need that half to kind
That's
of
me.
give you the little
I haven't
plump,
done a
the
full
little
syringe
bump.
in a while.
Yeah.
I do halfies like
Yes.
twice a year.
But you already have that
Base.
baseline, right?
Yeah.
So I give you a half syringe just to kind of give you that pop. But you have
Okay.
to have like existing, there's just
Okay.
it's
Okay.
I guess it's depending on my client, depending on
Okay.
the circumstance. But for the most part, I don't do halves on a fresh client
Okay.
that doesn't I know you're going to be unhappy with the results.
Okay.
So we sat there. I explained in detail. I had her sign the consent, everything, right? Told her a million times. I'm like, look, I really am against half a syringe. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to see this, the results. At first, it's going to look nice and beautiful because of
They're
the
swollen.
trauma. They're swollen,
Okay.
right? And then you're going to go home and you're going to wish that you did the full syringe. So I, against my gut feeling,
Oh, I hate that.
just to make her happy, I went with it, right? And so I go to charge her, and she's like, how much is it? I said $300. And she's like, $300?
Should have been 4.
A full syringe is $650.
Okay, but then you
right?
also took 100 off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So no, but then no. So it was gonna be 300 total. So really, it would have been minus the 100,
Okay.
whatever. So it's still a really
Still,
hefty
yes.
discount, right? And she's like, $300. I might as well just have paid for the full syringe. And I said, exactly, girl. Yes, you should have paid for the full syringe.
Oh, my God.
So
I
she's
just
yes,
hate
yes, yes. And so then I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, those are
Why
really
did I do this to
difficult-
myself?
Yes. And so I said, yes, most of the time, that's why people end up getting a full syringe, because you might as well. It's only like a $200 difference, whatever, you just get the full syringe. You're happier. It's a better scenario for everyone. But she's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do it, whatever. At this point, we had already put lip gloss on her. We already had
it's
her
too late.
yeah, no, but she didn't have big lips. I mean, she had really tight lips to begin with, so we would have had to do
She's
it
so
in
nice.
half.
She says tight lips.
Smaller lips. So
You know what we say? The opposite of that.
So we would have had to divide the appointment in half anyway. So typically when that happens, you want to get a full syringe. I'll have you come in, do the half, and then if your lips aren't, I guess big enough, or you can't do the full syringe, I'll have you come back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I told her, pay for the full syringe, and then I'll have you come back in 2 weeks, and then we'll do the other half. So she went to go pay for the full syringe, which at this point was $500 because I gave her the $100 discount, or $550, and her card declined.
Oh my God.
Her card declined 3 different cards. So
my God.
I am freaking out. I'm literally having a panic attack, like inside, you know. So I'm running 3 different credit cards for like 100.
Is she panicking?
No, she's like, try this credit card, try this credit card. Like this happens often.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
So fun fact, I still bartend, and I bartended last night, and that was happening on like a $20 tab last night, and that's how I know I can't bartend anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 cards, but I know the feeling. You're just like, I need to get this money, you know?
Yeah.
Granted, it's $20. This is a lot of
But,
money.
yes.
So what ended up happening? What was the result?
We split up the payments. She leaves, whatever. A week later, she hits me up. She's unhappy. You know,
Of course,
of
yeah.
course. And so I was having a shit day that day. Like it was just a bad day at work. You know, a bad day at home. I was not having a good day. She sends me that message. I see it come through, and I'm like, Jesus, this is the last thing that I need.
Like, this
So,
bitch.
right. So I respond to her in a very professional manner, and I'm like, we went over this multiple times in great length. You weren't going to be happy. You agreed. You signed the consent, whatever, right? So she's like, okay, well, I want the other half, but tomorrow. And it took me maybe like 2 hours to get back to her because I was working. And so in that 2 hours, she proceeded to text me and said, well, since you're not responding, I'm going to go ahead and file the dispute. And oh my God,
my.
it took every inch of me. I wrote like the nastiest message to her. And then I like literally was outside vaping, writing this message. And I was like, no, everything goes on the internet.
Yeah.
Another thing as an entrepreneur,
Write
like,
that down.
jot it
This
down.
will come back to you.
Yeah.
Everything goes on the internet, guys, like literally. So I had to delete my Nastygram.
That was the errors in you.
hope you screenshot it.
Show
You're like,
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So deleted it, wrote a very professional response, you know, and I told her I was going to refund her for the amount that she hadn't used, but unfortunately I was not going to refund her
What
for
she- sorry,
right,
yeah.
what she had already used, and she could go ahead and file the dispute, and that was going to be it. And I said, at this point, I wouldn't even feel comfortable taking you back for the half. So God bless you and go on.
God bless those lips. Later.
So yeah, that was pretty intense.
Wow.
I
That's
hate that
hard.
for
That's
you.
really hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, waxing clients, I don't feel like it's that intense because the price
Some of them-
tags.
Well, the price tag is not
the
the same.
price tag, right?
But money is money, and like
For sure.
it's still
For
still
sure.
a principle. You
And it's your
explained
time.
it. Yeah.
that you invested,
Time.
and then you explained in depth, and then they still went against your recommendations. So, I mean, what I'm taking from it is just stand firm on your policies
Yeah.
and follow your gut.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. If I had done that, I would have saved myself that entire headache and deleting her, you know, off my, like her picture off my like Instagram and so many things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, follow your gut for sure.
Follow your gut.
Yeah.
Well, as we start to wind down, I want to know your biggest wins and fails as a business owner.
I think biggest wins is just watching it all, you know,
Unfold.
Yeah. I think the first day that I sat, you knew me, I opened the spa. Our friend Nick came and helped set up, and I wanted to sleep there. Like,
Yeah, I remember
it
when
so
you found
much.
the spot and I
Yeah.
found out where it was. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
great location. So
Yeah.
personally, as your friend,
Yeah.
watching that happen and the growth, and now that you're at full capacity, like
Yeah.
job well done.
Yeah.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
you're proud of yourself and pat yourself on the back, because that's not just
Yeah.
by accident.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of hard work, but definitely that was the biggest win. I think just letting it sink in, and I sat there and I was like, I'm gonna sleep here tonight because I can. 'Cause I can.
This is my building.
I know.
And I had a Trulies, and you know, and it was like no one else was there, like just
It was
me,
just you
me.
celebrating,
Yeah,
baby.
like,
I love
I don't
that.
need anybody. You know, you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm gonna drink this Trulies and just soak this in.
Yeah.
And I think you guys know the feeling
Yeah.
because you're soaking it in now, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. And the biggest loss, I think, for me was investing in product that I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a really good one.
Yeah, it. I put $10,000 in to 10 grand in as a new business owner into a product that I thought I believed in, and then went off market.
Oh, no.
Shit.
So, like, you had the product.
Yes, tons of product.
Oh
And,
gosh! So that's why it was such a good deal. No, they were going out of business.
I wondered why it was 3 for 1.
And I But the thing is, I fully believed in it, and I was like,
Oh, that's the
my
worst.
god,
The
So
power of sales,
yeah,
baby.
I could not offer the product. I took a loss, and I think that now when a new product comes on or is like being advertised by any of my providers, or what do you call it?
Your reps? Or,
My reps, yeah, I wait for it to be out for a certain amount of time,
Before.
and then I invest.
Well, that's good
Good rule of thumb.
learning experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what did you just throw it away? What did you have to do?
No, it took like
Do you want
a
to use it
year.
on us?
I know, like, do you still have it?
I don't. I don't believe in it now.
Okay, that's fair.
You have to just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do unless you use it on your friends, who are not going to sue you. But
Right.
Oh
I mean,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Well, you take it
Okay.
out sometimes in business.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
for sure.
okay, so our last question, what advice do you have for a new entrepreneur?
I think it would be to just have a lot of faith in yourself. There's a lot of self-doubt when you go into things and I think it comes from being little and, from what your upbringing and everything
Your
else.
inner child.
Your inner child,
Yes.
your relationships with people. You can't do this, especially as a woman, there's this thing where I think as women, we just feel like we can't do things alone or, be an entrepreneur and be successful without having a partner or without having that person. I have a lot of friends that are business owners and they, they have their husbands put up like their walls. And I put everything up my damn self. And I'm like, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, just get rid of that doubt and jump in. And yeah, you're going to have some losses. But I think at the end of the day, you gain so much more from just having faith in yourself.
Yeah.
And you can get so far. It's crazy. Your potential is just like unlimited. And I think just like zoning into what you're good at and just believing in yourself is just crazy. You can do crazy things for sure.
Spoken like a true boss.
Will you tell us your social media handle?
Yes,
So that people can follow you?
The JuJu Room. That's my business account.
Okay.
You can all my other accounts. I have all my other girls, my lash tech, and my other nurse that's there. They're all tagged on there, so you can find them.
You can find them.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I would go through them, but I have dementia brain.
You know what? You didn't pass out. You made it to the
You
end.
did great,
So,
Judy. That was
yes.
I didn't
amazing.
pass
Awesome
out.
show.
Jesus,
Yes,
thanks.
thank you so much for
Thanks.
being here
Yeah,
with
no,
us.
thanks
all
for
the
having me.
insight
Yeah.
and so proud of you.
No,
Thank you.
thanks. I'm proud of you girls too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.